In a rare admission of guilt, Red Bull's Max Verstappen has finally held his hands up after a controversial on-track moment with George Russell during the Spanish Grand Prix, saying that his aggressive move was not right and shouldn't have happened. The incident happened in the final laps at Turn 5, where Verstappen and the Mercedes driver locked horns following team orders for Verstappen to hand back fourth place after cutting Turn 1 to stay ahead. Although Verstappen crossed the line in fifth, the stewards weren't impressed. A 10-second time penalty saw the reigning four-time world champion tumble down the order to a disappointing 10th in the final standings. Initially, Verstappen was unapologetic, telling reporters on Sunday that he had no regrets about the incident. But by Monday, the tone had shifted. Taking to social media, the Dutchman acknowledged his mistake, conceding that the move was not right and shouldn't have happened. He wrote, "We had an exciting strategy and good race in Barcelona till the safety car came out. Our tyre choice to the end and some moves after the safety car restart fueled my frustration, leading to a move that was not right and shouldn't have happened. I always give everything out there for the team, and emotions can run high. You win some together, you lose some together. See you in Montreal." Max Verstappen's social media apology didn't go unnoticed, earning a like from Red Bull team boss Christian Horner, who confirmed the incident would be addressed internally after the race. But while Verstappen is ready to tuck his tail between his legs, Horner has more bites to dish out after Nico Rosberg's fiery suggestion that the Dutchman should have been black flagged in Spain. For those who miss the drama, Rosberg, never one to hold back in the Sky F1 commentary booth, called Verstappen's move deliberate and argued it warranted disqualification. The 2016 world champion said, "He needs to get black flagged. He just crashed into Russell on purpose just to prove a point. That was horrible. That did not look good. That's bad, bad, bad. That is seriously bad. He just rams him, full on. You need to black flag that. There's no other way." It looked like a very intentional retaliation. Wait for the opponent, go ramming into him, just like you felt the other guy rammed into you at Turn 1. That's something which is extremely unacceptable, and I think the rules would call for a black flag, yes. If you wait for your opponent to bang into him, that's a black flag. Horner, however, wasn't buying the outrage. He dismissed the 2016 world champion's comments as over the top, calling Rosberg quite sensational in his delivery, and not in the flattering sense. "Nico's quite sensational in the way he commentates, so we'll leave it there," he told media. When asked if Verstappen had let himself down, echoing a claim made by George Russell, Horner said, "Look, I haven't had a chance to speak to Max. It's something we'll talk about in time. I think it's clear that you could hear that he was frustrated. He didn't agree. You can hear with both Charles and George. I haven't had a chance to speak to him because he's had to speak to you guys, and now he's up in the stewards talking about the Charles incident." Nico Rosberg wasn't the only pundit to draw fire from Christian Horner after last weekend's events. Ralf Schumacher found himself in the crosshairs after making a particularly wild claim on Sky Deutschland, suggesting that Max Verstappen's clash with George Russell at the Spanish Grand Prix might have been a deliberate ploy to trigger his Red Bull exit clause. He said, "His behavior is a pity. He doesn't need that as a four-time world champion. I don't know what got into him. It is clear that frustration is on the way, but that should not be the case. I think he realized today that it's not going as hoped and that the update didn't work so well." Verstappen's long-term future at Red Bull, tied up in a contract that runs through 2028, has sparked plenty of speculation, especially given the rumored exit clause linked to internal team dynamics. But Schumacher took things to another level, theorizing that Verstappen could be sabotaging his own races to rack up penalties and ultimately open the door to leave the team. "You have to pay attention to why things like this happen and why he gets an unnecessary penalty if there is a clause," said Schumacher. "It's a critical phase." Christian Horner was having none of it. The Red Bull team boss didn't mince words, slamming Schumacher's theory as the biggest nonsense possible, and calling it the most stupid comment he's heard in a long time in the wake of the Barcelona controversy. While speaking to Bild, he said, "This theory is the biggest nonsense possible. I haven't heard anything so stupid for a long time. Max is a racer through and through. He always wants to win and would never act like that. In light of negative press surrounding Max Verstappen's driving, Christian Horner has revealed that the Dutchman offered an apology to the Red Bull team following his high-profile clash with George Russell. While Verstappen's fiery radio messages made headlines, especially after a controversial call to switch him onto hard tyres during a late safety car period, Horner also stood firmly behind the team's strategy, saying that it was the best they could do given the information they had. Spain closes out the triple header, and we leave Barcelona frustrated that we didn't take more from the race, he said. As a team, we attacked on the three-stop, which was the better strategy, and it was only the safety car which had us over. We would never have been as close to Lando Norris if it wasn't for the three-stopper. The safety car came out at the worst possible time for our strategy. We had the choice to stay out on older tyres or take the gamble with a new set of hard tyres. Hindsight is always 20/20, but we made the best decision at the time with the information we had. The result that followed was frustrating as it was looking to be an easy podium for Max and good championship points. Max apologized in the debrief for his incident with Russell. The SC also hurt Yuki Tsunoda's race. He would have been very close, if not in the points, otherwise if you look at the trajectory he was on. But that's racing. It can turn in a split second. It is one of the reasons we are all so captivated and in love with this sport. It was a tough weekend, but we were busy working hard over the next weeks to make some setup improvements to the car and come back strong in Montreal. Helmut Marko has also given his 2 cents about the incident, saying, "On the straight, I'd say Leclerc drove into Max's car," Marko recalled to Service TV. Then came the situation with Russell. The internal discussion was that it was 50-50, and since it happened right after the safety car period, the impact of a 10-second penalty is much greater than if it happened mid-race. Marko admits he was baffled by his driver's antics. Max lifted off the throttle, so we all assumed he was letting Russell through, and then suddenly he accelerated again, said the 82-year-old. I don't know what kind of misjudgment or thought process was going on inside him. And then, as they say, all hell broke loose. Marko then began to reminisce on Verstappen and Russell's heated past, saying, "There have already been issues in the past," Marko said. "It was unnecessary and a lot of points lost. But because of all the incidents and wrong decisions that unfortunately happened, emotions simply got the better of him. And don't forget, he's already got a bit of a feud going on with Russell." After penalties, apologies, and paddock drama, Verstappen leaves Spain with plenty to reflect on. With Montreal next, will tensions cool or flare up again? This title fight's heating up fast. Stay tuned, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next chapter in this wild F1 season.